Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Cupcake Smash coming at you with another life story. In this one, we're going to be talking about the ink incident. I almost got suspended for this. Let me paint the picture for you where I was. It was junior year high school, just a regular day. And to paint the structure of this, they had two lunches at my school, two different times: A lunch and a B lunch. A lunch goes before, and I think an hour later, B lunch starts. So it's usually one and then the next. And it all depends on what schedule you had. So there was almost like a clear divide in the school: those who had A lunch and those who had B lunch. I happened to have A lunch during junior year, and couldn't tell you if it was better or not because sometimes I would visit B lunch, like skip class, and A, it's the same shit. Really, the only difference is who you can hang out with and who you can't. So it was like if your friend or your best friend didn't have the same lunch as you, it was kind of hard to see them at school unless you came early or after hung out. But lunch was really where kids had to mingle and could really just let loose for a second and just not think about the soul crushing work that we were surrounded by. Anyways, it's A lunch. And I got my two friends with me at the time, Andres and Gilbert. Of course, we're just giving them the names for the sake of the story, right? Andres, he was a taller man, smart, nerdy type, intellectual. He knew a lot about computers, and I fucked with him a lot. He had Steam, and he knew about building computers and whatnot, so he was a cool guy. And then Gilbert, he was a little smaller, glasses, frame, also nerd type dude. These are my friends, man. No shitting on them, but we're some dorks. Us just hanging out. All we talk about will be video games and what we do after school, which is play more video games. So, anyways, the day comes, we're hanging out. Me, Gilbert, and Andres. So, usually what happens is lunch starts, and I head straight to the cafeteria. I get my slice of pizza or whatever it was that day, what I'm feeling, and we move out. Now, in high school, we used to do this thing called lapping. And lapping meant just taking laps around the school. Literally, we would walk all through the courtyard, through the hallways, through the buildings, just really spread our legs, lapping. On one of these laps, we found ourselves in an empty hallway, all by ourselves. I had a devilish idea. Now, this is where the ink comes in. This is where the problem started. Now, when I was little, like elementary little, what I would do is if you get a regular pen, any old pen, and you take it apart, you can pull out the tube of ink, right? With the tip. Well, in some pens, if you take that tube out and take the tip off, you can, almost like a straw, blow the ink out from one end of the pen and just it'll dribble out. The ink will just fall. What I figured out very early on was if this stuff gets on the floor, it'll spread. One little drop of this ink is so concentrated, man. Concentrated where if you put a drop of that on a piece of paper, the paper is getting fucked. It's fucked. If it lands on your shoe, it's fucked. On the floor, it's over. So I figured that out very young. And I don't know what came over me this day, but it came to me like an idea. Huh, this should be fun. So we're walking down the hall, just chatting normal. All the while, I have this idea in my head. We're chatting, and I bring it up to them. I say, guys, check this out. And I take out the pen. Jokingly, like blah, ha, ha, ha. It's already coming out. I take the pen and I disassemble it. I put the straw up to my lips. I think they put two and two together what it was. We were all laughing and it was funny. I push it and I start blowing on the tube. Once it gets a couple drops on the floor, I was like, that ain't gonna be that bad. You know, pass it over to my friend. He does he pushes a little bubble, comes out, and it's all fun. And you could barely see the ink blots on the floor because the way the tile was in my school, there would be some specks on the tile, the way the design was. So these little droplets really blended in with the floor. We get a little bit of it out and we're laughing, we're having fun, making sure not to get any on us. Even though it was all fun and games, we weren't stupid. When we did that, we kept walking. We didn't just stand around huddled over each other doing this in the middle of the hallway. That's kind of sus. No, we kept walking and we did it, and we didn't even look back. We did this, laid the seeds of chaos. So I'm happy, more excited than anything, and I can't wait to see what's this ink is gonna do, right? So we keep moving, we move our way out of the building, we just continue our lap. Lunch finishes. So I say goodbye and I say see you later. We forget about it. Time goes on through the day. I can't remember if it was the next period or towards the end of the day, but I think it was towards the end of the day. I passed by that same hallway again. Ladies and gentlemen, it looked like a murder scene. I turned the corner into this hallway and I look on the floor. From the start to the end, practically, it looks like you murdered a Smurf. Or a bunch of them, like the whole village just murdered all over the floor, man. You saw foot marks, trail marks, just little blots everywhere, is all over the floor, and nobody was noticing because this was just a bunch of huddle. But I was staring at the floor, man. I was staring at what was happening, and all you saw was blue everywhere. It was actually kind of cool. At the moment, it was impressive. I was actually proud of what I did. Yeah, it's fucked up. But to see what a couple drops did in the hall, degenerate shit. So from this, nothing happened immediately. And I say immediately because something did happen the next day. Fast forward. I'm in class, chilling. And the teacher gets a call on her phone. She says it's for me. I gotta go down to the administrative office. Oh my God. In the back of my mind, I knew what it was for, but I also knew they ain't got nothing on me. What do they got? So I'm walking in my mind, you think of a million things of what it could be for. Obviously, it was probably for the ink, right? So I'm thinking in my head about what I'm going to say, whatever. And I get to the office. Who's waiting for me but none other than the junior year administrator, Mr. Jones. Now, me and Mr. Jones, we were tight. Tight to where he knew what I did, he knew who I was, but we kind of respected each other on a level. A certain level, if you say. I don't know what to describe it. Maybe he liked my family, maybe he liked me, maybe the way I was, he saw something in me that reminded him of himself. But I like Mr. Jones. I fuck with him. So he calls me in and he sits me down. He's sitting on the desk. He's doing his, adult thing, just typing on the computer. He's talking about other things besides the problem. And I'm sitting there in my chair. I'm like, all right, when is he going to lay it on me? What's happening? And he goes, have you seen the hallway? I said, oh, the hallway? He's like, yeah, the hallway. It's blue now. I was laughing. I was yeah, it's blue. I've seen it. It's crazy, right? And he's looking at me. And I can tell he was trying to get a read on me. Like if I was lying, the way he was looking at me. He was trying to tell if it was something off, the way he asked the question. So I laugh it off. I'm like, what's wrong with it? And he's like, he asked me, he says, do you know who did it? I said no. What made you think it was me or that I know anybody that did it? And he goes, well, because Gilbert told me that you did. In my mind, as soon as he said his name, I was like, this dude, he done snitched on all of us, didn't he? So I had to think quick, on my feet. I go, how can that be? Do you got video evidence? Where's the proof? He said, you want to see it? I said, yeah, I want to see it because I'm not there. And I stood my ground. I said, didn't happen, not me. Don't know what you're talking about, right? So, all right, he takes a minute and he pulls up the security footage. And I see myself. I don't know if you guys ever seen the quality of the video of the security cameras that are around your school, but they were ass. It was so bad. The quality, bro, I was looking at myself And I couldn't tell it was me. That's how bad it was. So I had a really good defense. I'm looking at this video, and you really couldn't tell just by seeing who it was, but he could make out Gilbert because he stood out. Let's just say that. I said shorter build, big glasses. Like you could tell it was him when in the video, but you couldn't make out me or Andres. It was like a gray area. So, next thing is he got my parents involved. I said, I need my mom here. If I didn't have a lawyer, the next best thing I had was my mom. And I knew my mom would back me up through anything. If I said I didn't do it, I didn't do it. So I wait around. She didn't take that long to show up because she worked pretty close to the school. So let's say 15 minutes, right? She pulls up and she sits down. And he explains the story to my mom. She sees the video. She looks and is like, how do you know that's him? He goes, well, our friend Gilbert told us that it was him. Again, back to the proof. I thought of something so ingenious, guys. Big brain play. Big brain. I go, if that's me, I'm wearing the same shoes as yesterday. If that was me, wouldn't I have ink all over my shoes or something? And much like the O.J. Simpson trial, I take off my shoes. The shoes that I wore yesterday, and I said, how could I do this destruction and not have a single drop on my shoes? And I show him the bottom of my shoes. Clean as hell. I stood on that. There was a moment of silence. It felt like 5 minutes, almost 10 minutes. It felt like forever where he didn't say anything. After what felt like forever of silence, he goes, I guess you're right. We were mistaken. I'm sorry. He said that. I put the shoes back on and I say thank you. I thanked them. I said, yeah, I'm glad we came to this conclusion. And thanks to my mom for being right there to back me up. It was almost like the perfect defense. I had to outsmart the administrator right here when literally a video of myself is on the screen. And I walked away. Guys. After that, I dropped Gilbert. Gone. I was cool with him, but like, bro, he literally threw me under the bus. And Andres. Fuck that. You can't choose your family, but you could damn well choose who your friends are. I remember the hall being blue for like a week before they ended up cleaning it and waxing it and doing whatever they had to do to fix it. Hey, that was another life story, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun telling this one. Yeah, I was up to my debauchery, some real degenerate shit in this one, guys. You already know what it is. Thanks for following, and I hope you enjoy. I'll catch you in the next one.